So unless you've been living under a rock or just, don't care, Trump approved the merger deal between TikTok, Oracle, and Walmart, and they're just waiting for China to finalize the deal. If the aforementioned parties don't consent to the deal by November 12th, certain technical transactions and points of functionality might not be operational. So, those of you who are concerned might be asking yourself right now, well, all everyone has to do to keep TikTok up is to agree to the deal, right? And yeah, you'd be right. But the deal might not go as smoothly or even appear to be that simple on the unscratched surface. I mean, come on, are you really expecting these people to tell the truth? There are a myriad of things ByteDance absolutely doesn't want to relinquish to the US since they just can't afford to lose such valuable IP. But the one thing that both the CCP and ByteDance absolutely can't fork over is TikTok's data mining algorithm. Even though how it works and where it's routed to are almost completely shrouded in mystery, the CCP, many in the software and media entertainment industry would agree that TikTok's data collection methods and recommendation algorithms trump, pun absolutely intended, most of what's out on the market. Even if a user is familiar with how software like this works, they'll probably still be amazed at how fast and efficiently the app can know their interests, give them what they like, recommend endless amounts of content, advertise to them effectively, and get as far up their asses as possible without them even knowing. This is the most probable reason TikTok is valued at the amount it is, as data collection technology like this could do the unthinkable for businesses whose product doesn't run on the consumers paying for it, but advertisers who pay to have their content hosted. The more precise the data mining technology is, the more accurately ads can be targeted. Because businesses need this data in order to get people to buy their products or services, and couldn't possibly care less about people's personal privacy, data has been, and will continue to be, the most profitable industry. The demand for user information is so high that it's become infinitely worth more than diamond, gold, and oil, to the point where all the pieces of information most people accumulate in their lifetimes will probably be worth more than a lot of people could even make in their lifetimes. Such value is one of the reasons that China will most likely never even think of giving TikTok's data mining technology to another enterprise. If an agreement isn't reached by November 12th, from what the BBC knows, consumers in the US won't be able to download the app, and certain technical capabilities will be rendered unable to work anymore. The most probable candidate for prevention of the app being downloaded is a firewall that doesn't let IP addresses in the US access certain apps. This is almost exactly similar to what the CCP instituted in 2003, dubbed euphemistically as the Golden Shield Project, which was a firewall that prevented IP addresses in the People's Republic of China that weren't special administrative regions from accessing certain websites and networks outside of it, being named like what an 8-year-old would call his proudest Lego creation, possibly out of fear of losing control over public opinion of them, rendering China as insecure as a teenage girl before Picture Day. Many other theories also posit that both the Chinese government and Chinese corporations didn't want the people realizing what intellectual property the West had in stock, in order to stick exclusively to Chinese markets, again, out of fear of losing their grasp over their own people, since many theorized that it would be detrimental for China to not be as far up each of their citizens' asses as they can possibly be. Since it's a well-known fact that the CCP heavily monitors their people's internet activity, this would only make it easier for them to project a better image of themselves onto the people who reside within their borders, without having to pull another Tiananmen Square. Supposedly, the US decided to give TikTok and WeChat to American companies due to quote-unquote national security concerns, but many have suspected that it was instead out of want to acquire such valuable intellectual property, or to stop people from accessing it if they couldn't eventually get a hold of it. If the US eventually does prevent the app from being downloaded by IP addresses located in America, there are still very easy and uncomplicated ways of bypassing the greater firewall. Saying it's a well-known fact that VPN'S can easily tunnel through firewalls set up by ISPs or even governments would be an understatement. This is because they have tunneling protocols that mask your online traffic, giving you a good amount of anonymity while browsing the web. This means any Gen Z troglodyte with too much time on their hands has the capability of accessing TikTok after a ban by just connecting to a free VPN in a nearby country like Canada or a sovereign nation in the Caribbean, granted that the firewall and device monitoring aren't stringent enough, which is why it's laughable that the US government thinks they're making progress on the digital security frontier. It won't be easy for the US government to crack down on who is and isn't using VPNs to access federally banned software, since most people use them for good reasons such as concerns over privacy, a need for optimal web browsing, and a feeling of safety and so on. It could be seen as a very authoritarian and/or desperate move by everyone if the US government even prohibits the use of VPNs, let alone the Tor browser, which is funded by said government themselves. With that being said, even though it wouldn't seem like a very revolutionary move by any side involved in this situation, the underlying issue of cybersecurity and control of both consumers and intellectual property still does and will continue to persist as a major problem in desperate need of resolution. At the core of this story of superpowers clashing over what might be the most valued technology in the current decade, the latent issues of individual privacy, intellectual property, and financial gain lie at the core. While it's technically true TikTok has come under scrutiny because it can pose a national security threat, it's no secret that US operations want TikTok's source code for selfish reasons, mainly being fucking money! If you're a private citizen who's concerned about your digital privacy, take precautionary measures like using a VPN or the Tor browser while using the internet. Using operating systems or web browsers that don't collect your data or backdoor information to an unknown recipient. And tread with caution when anyone or anything asks for or looks like they're taking your personal information, and just be on the lookout to name a few. Your best defense against most all digital threats is your common sense, and it's an invaluable asset when people couldn't care less about your personal privacy. But for now, just keep calm and proceed with the right amount of caution. Thank you all for watching, because you being here really means a lot to me considering I haven't uploaded since the Haddian era. This is Prelude. But I do have a couple more projects lined up for this month, and they absolutely will continue to improve in their quality and their consistency. So once again, thank you, and have yourselves wonderful lives.